All right, welcome to our final match of the week here, and we got some big stakes here because Mr. York himself, Chris York, back with us for the fourth week in a row. He is on the verge of being eliminated here, so he's at 10 losses, and Jeremy is looking to do the deed here. Both of them veterans of our league, feature match veterans as well. What's Jeremy working with?
Jeremy's got an interesting hand. So he's got the two lands on the field: a Mirage Mesa Swamp, a Nimble Brigand Explosive Derailment, Magda, and a Mourner's Surprise here.
Sounds like he's got all sorts of colors going on.
Tons of colors, tons of opportunity. What's York working with to
So,
back up this
so
hero
earlier
deck?
in the week, I did. We were in chat after he lost, and we did sort of build up a deck that was Rakdos. But it looks like the pull of a God Eternal Oketra, which is in his hand, was a little too strong to not play. So he's got the God Eternal Oketra. He's got a Mayhem Devil, so he is playing some red in his deck, despite having no red mana at this time. He has two swamps, and he has Kaya, Bane of the Dead, which is the Planeswalker from War of the Spark, which he does have two copies of, I believe. So. Looks like a white-black base to a deck here, and this Oketra is gonna. If Jerry doesn't have a way to deal with this, which there's not really ways to deal with this.
Um, I'm I'm not seeing it.
This is
I
going to be
mean,
an absolute misery. So I played a lot of War of the Spark, and I felt strongly that White was on the verge of being unplayable. Oh, I think God Eternal Oketra is the only card in the set that could put me into White in that entire set. When I was drafting it.
yeah, I
That's,
mean, Jeremy's gonna have some options here, so this will allow us Brigand to at least swing in and see if we can find some options.
yeah, so there's not really good answers to this. There, like you have to basically like play something that removes the abilities, like one of those blue auras that says it loses abilities. Because an O ring doesn't do it. A pacifism will stop it from attacking, but it won't stop the triggered ability. It's a lot. It's a lot here. So yeah, so Chris can just literally just drop two creatures and make a bunch of 4/4s. But he said, "Let me take care of this other issue first. I don't like this card draw thing. Let's go."
This is indeed an issue for Jeremy
Oh,
right now. Now, granted, he has two treasures.
interesting. Okay. I guess he said one treasure away. I'm not really into this.
Yeah, I don't
He's gonna
not
stay
hate
back and
it.
protect the Kaya here, saying I want another exile from this.
It's
Interesting.
more than likely going to work. So, really, outside of more surprise, Jeremy has this lively dirge he drew 2 turns ago. Probably going to go digging for something through the deck, seeing if there's any answer he might be able to find.
Okay. I mean, God Eternal Ketra kind of like not exactly, but in the same category of cards as the Selvala that we saw in the last match. Just play creatures and just get an insane advantage. I mean, it won't make you mana, but it makes you 4/4s, which is kind of insane.
Now, what does it take to make the 4/4s? I
You
don't think I've
just
ever really
cast a
seen a catch
creature.
it. Oh, so it's like Savala, but on crap.
Yes. Well, Selvala taps for mana, so it gives you something to do, but this just makes
No,
four
I'll
fours,
take
and this is
4/4s.
also almost unkillable, basically.
Yeah, I'll take 4/4s over 1/1s and mana. Gladly.
Yeah, I mean, this was probably like best card in the set for War. Like I said, literally the only card that could get me to play White. This was back in the early days of Arena, so back when it was only bot drafts, and you could just force the Grixis colors because they were so good. But I mean, if this is the best he could find, I don't know what's. I mean,
So
look,
it's not the best he could find, but it's the best to find an answer.
I'm never sad to see my boy, the Vault Plunderer, but
Yeah, looking through the deck, there was like tons of answers. So we saw Detention Sphere, a few other ways of dealing with the Oketra, but they're all like instant and sorceries or enchantments. There's nothing
oh,
creature wise that would
he's drawn a Kambal, which will drain every time a token comes in.
well that seems pretty good.
Uh
Is
huh.
Oketra on cast or ETB?
It is
On
on
cast, okay.
cast. It's a 4/4 with vigilance that it makes. Just ridiculous card. Yeah, these gods were
Yeah.
just too pushed. Like these, this was just not. This was
And
just a
that vigilance?
misery.
Why?
It was
Why
a
did that
it
vigilance?
was just misery and limited. Like it's just like they're not fun. Like it's just they pushed it a little too far with even if you exile it, it'll still come back. Like Jesus. And York actually has two gods in his pool because last week we saw him with his red deck playing the Ilharg, the red god.
That's right. So he has two. I wonder if he's still playing the Ilharg or not. I would think not.
I'm thinking no, but you never know what kind of stuff he might pull. He does have a Mayhem Devil in hand, so I
I
know
mean,
we brewed up a black red deck splashing Gitrog, but I guess this God
well, it's
Eternal
also his,
Ketra just was is too good to be left on the side, perhaps.
it's potentially his last game, regardless. Though, like, why not?
Yep.
Just have fun, play all your great cards.
Yeah, he had a lot more bombs in red, but God Eternal Ketra by itself was better than any of the red cards, but there were just a higher volume of good red
This
cards.
feels
Organ Hoarder, I mean,
terrible.
this was a banger from back in the day.
It's a banger, but the options just feel like so he took a Desert's Dew off the top, and Desert's Dew is really great in OTJ because it deals with just about every single creature. But six is the magical number that's going to be extremely hard to hit, and it
It's
has first strike, so
and
it's
it
not
just
even like
comes
you can
back.
block it if
No,
you hit
it
it.
has double strike actually.
Yeah, it's even worse. He's got like this rooftop assassin that's just never going to be able to answer that
Yeah,
thing
this is
ever.
just like not a pleasant way to lose a game. Just this card that's just unanswerable, makes threats, kills you really fast. Like just silly design here.
Interesting enough, Jeremy has set a stop for Chris's upkeep, so I'm curious what the plan is there.
Yeah, there's like just a very tiny amount of cards that actually provide a clean answer.
Interesting.
This Camball's
Thinking about
gonna drain perhaps. All right, well, okay,
wait, the deal with it, does it count the
yeah.
you control? One, two. How did I miss that fourth desert? Okay.
Oh yes, four. It's the Mirage Mesa is the Mirage Mesa is a desert, and then they has the three duels.
Well, I mean, it buys some time at the very least. Now these four fours are a whole different question.
So it puts it third from the top, so he gets to draw it in 3 turns.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
wait, what? Oh, no. He can cast his Desperate Bloodseeker, target himself, and draw it next turn. No, yes. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so 4/4s come in. It's good magic. Make some 4/4s.
yeah, I mean, why not, right? This is just free value. Free creatures you got off the Oketra.
Yeah, yeah, very little analysis required at this time. Just, you know, Oketra unanswerable, 4/4s beat in. What else? What else is there to say?
I mean, I think it's really interesting though that Jeremy traded off both creatures that gave value already. Like the Plunderer drew a card, the Organ Hoarder chose a new card. So really,
Look at this.
it's just a
Look
wash,
at this
right?
tech. I want my god back.
Do you see it, Jeremy? Do
Now,
you see
now he
it?
just has to look at it for an entire turn cycle. He just has to stare at it. Be like,
Maybe he can rip
this again.
a Bloodseeker off the top.
Counterspell? Mill? Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
counterspells do actually answer these gods.
yeah. Too bad it wasn't like stranded in the hand. He drew Hollow Marauders for the turn.
Mm, no, that's not going to have a window here. But it will get this
Yeah.
Mayhem Devil, which is uncastable. So York's like, whatever. This is a dead card anyway.
Could also give him a new card. Abrupt Decay will not answer the Orchestra.
Nope. It can kill a token if he's concerned about that, but it's yeah, just the advantage you get from this card puts you so far ahead here.
The token might be a concern. Maybe he Mourner Surprises for something.
Yeah, like,
1/2 with a remainder of 4 mana.
you
So
could get the Organ Hoarder and dig some more, but it sounds like there's not really much you can do about this.
no, the Mother Catcher coming back down. You're gonna have to find an answer for that. Like if he was more in white, maybe he does have some of the O-ring effects, but that would be the cleanest way.
O-ring still triggers the Oketra. It'll still go back to the top of the deck.
Is it anytime it's targeted?
No, it's whenever it would die or go into exile from the battlefield.
That's so disgusting. So you can't even like
Nope. Or
exile it. That is so
exile
gross.
target creature like black spell, no. Consuming ashes, no. Mystical tether, no. Just all of it.
It's just this pains me deep inside.
Yeah, this card, like I said, absurd design. Just like one of the best limited cards, in the last many, many years. Just so stupid for
Okay.
5 mana.
Jeremy could take 2 this turn. Put the 2/2 on the 4/4. Flash in the rooftop, kill it. 1, 2, 3, 4, remainder of 2. So you can also hold up Abrupt Decay, but there's still the Oketra to deal with.
Okay, I mean, sure.
I don't think he wants to give up the 4/2, but I think he just wants to hold the Abrupt Decay, I would guess.
I think he has to use it here. I mean, he's running out of life and time.
Not that he has to use it. I mean, he can. He has enough to rooftop and Abrupt Decay, so if he wanted to, he could take 4, go down to 3. Oh, okay. If
I mean, that
I'm
works
giving up my
too.
4/2, I might as well do a clean trade, right?
Might as well, yeah. I mean, it's all bad, right? Like whatever the block is, it's pretty bad.
There's nothing good here.
I mean, he could still do the rooftop assassin thing, and like,
Yeah.
everything he's doing is cute, but Oketra just trumps it all. I think here. Yeah, go to 3.
I mean, also leaving these life linkers behind is pretty much like impossible to race.
I mean, you can't really race an Oketra anyway because it makes vigilance tokens. So
Oh, I mean, like if you had a way to keep streaming removal,
sure, yeah.
but the problem is these life linkers are just going to win.
We get a pretty little animation as well for our trouble.
Then drawn for turn is just a canyon.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he even have anything in the graveyard to deal with this? Like, there's more surprise is kind of just rotting here.
Yeah, this card is like I said. I mean, we can't really say too much more about it. It's just very silly. Makes for not super competitive games. Jeremy is like doing everything he possibly can. Oh, here's a token. Sure, why not?
Oregon Horde, hope for another answer, but I mean, it's not feeling good.
Kambal is very unassuming. Like I remember the first time I played it, my opponent played it, and then I just cast Dance of the Tumbleweeds like I would do all the time, and my opponent got a token as well. I'm like, oh,
They're like, thank you.
let's not do that again.
I think the best when someone plays Bonnie Paul, so they get a copy of the token also.
So I actually sided it in a league match when somebody had like 3 prickly pear, and then they played Calamity, and I actually got to make a copy of the token, but my copy stayed, and their copies went away. The copies of the tokens that Calamity makes, because the trigger just tells the tokens that Calamity makes to go away, not the token that I made. Is this Euphemia is probably just a 2/1 flyer in his deck? I don't know. I believe it says at the beginning of your end step, if you exile an enchantment from your graveyard, you make a 2/2. Yeah, York's reading
I
it.
believe so.
York's now reading it and saying it looks like a 2/1 flyer to me.
I mean, I was today years old when I realized Oketra did not have flying. Like everything on his art, I would believe it flies, but it doesn't.
So
It's really like
acquisition rate is going to be killing one of the creatures here actually, because it's an enchantment. Yeah, I don't. There's not really much surviving right now.
leaving 3 blockers up. Still dead to just well.
Everything's +1 as well, right?
Yes, that's what I'm missing. Yes, so the
And
1/1 will become a
requisition.
2/2. Yeah.
And just
All right, York.
blowing up this 2/1 flyer just for being an enchantment, like just collateral damage in this whole raid.
So Oketra made that kind of a non-game. We'll see if there's some magic to be played in game 2.
So he does have a healthy dose of red here, with not enough sources for my liking, but like we didn't see any of that game, but he has. So he has a Mayhem Devil that we saw, Outlaws Merriment, Eartha Joe, and Rakdos the Muscle. So he's running all of those in his black-white deck. Yeah, he's got some spicy cards too. Bolas' Citadel.
Now that is what I call the spice of
I
life.
mean, have you ever triggered a Bolas' Citadel with Mayhem Devil in play?
I have not, but I've died to someone using the
That
last
is
ability of Bullet Citadel like 2 more times than I care to count.
yes, but if you have a Mayhem Devil in play, it's 20 damage because Mayhem
That's
Devil
just gross.
deals 1 damage for every sacked permanent.
That's fair. That's just funny. That's gross.
York scanned his sideboard and scanned his deck and said, Uh, Run it back.
Yeah, I believe Jeremy is pretty much in every single color. I see some green, I see some red, I see some white, I see some black, and I see some blue.
We call that. Let me count. One, two, five color. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, he brought a similar deck last time, I believe.
I believe you were watching from his point of
Yeah.
view. And who did he play last week?
Was
Was
it
that?
Caleb? I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah, I know. I know he won pretty handily last time. So let's see if he can come back here. I mean, if York doesn't draw Oketra, we have a competitive game because York's cards were good. I mean, Kaya's very good, but none of the other cards he cast were like so overpoweringly great that you can't fight against it. But that one card just warped the entire game.
Oh yeah. It looks like Jeremy's thinking about putting in Humiliate.
And he even had the Desperate Bloodseeker to mill two and draw it next turn. Like just a perfect card.
I'm not even sure if Jeremy could have got out of that situation, even if that situation didn't happen.
Yeah. I don't know if two extra turns he would have been able to catch up enough in those two extra turns. And
Yeah, I
York
think he's gonna
was
call it.
drawing a removal in the interim. Like one of the cards he milled was a Spark Harvest, so he'd just pick off whatever
Yeah.
he needed in the meantime. Yeah, rough go here. So is Jeremy doing some sideboarding here? Or is he just showing off
He's
his deck?
thinking about it. I mean, after a game like that, you really got to think of your outs, right? And there's really like if it resolves, there's really not many outs
You're
except kind of
outs.
like hope to aggro them out. But if you're in five colors, you're probably not all that aggressive.
You take to one. You take to your knees and you pray to whatever power you believe in. Please don't have my opponent draw Oketra this
Oh, 100%.
game.
I mean,
Perhaps that's
that's
what
my
he's doing. Perhaps
strategy.
he stepped away from the keyboard to ask for some help.
Oh no, he's scrolling back and forth. If
Okay,
he's praying while scrolling. He's
all right.
multitasking, if you will.
Why not both? Why not both?
Knowing Jeremy, he's probably asking ChatGPT to concoct a plan. I'm joking.
How to beat York? York is a monster.
All right. I don't believe any changes were made. And if he did make a change, I was not too privy to it.
All right.
All
So I don't
right. I
know.
mean, it's a hand. Got some blue, got some
Is
green,
it
got some
keepable
black
though?
in the hand.
Looks like it is.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
He's got the Lust Oasis, two Swamps, Oregon Hoarder, Badlands Revival, Hollow Marauder, and a Snakeskin Veil.
All right.
It's slow,
Little slow.
but I mean, everything's castable.
Little slow here. York's got a one lander, so no way this is getting kept. And I mean, not the most exciting hand, but certainly acceptable here.
You're saying we might all want to start praying to these gods that Jeremy's been praying to?
No Oketra to be seen, so he's
Except
he's
one.
in the clear for now. He's got double Treasure Dredger, the two drop.
Ooh, I'm in. Treasure and Friends.
He's got a Herald of the Dreadhorde, which is a 4 mana 3/2 that makes a 2/2 army when it dies. He's got a Spark Harvest, and he's drawn a Mayhem Devil here. His other land is an Arid Archway.
Well, this Spark Harvest might find a friend for this
Ooh.
morbid opportunist.
He's also drawn a Bovine Intervention, just a card I just can't get behind.
If you really need removal, right, I would rather turn someone's bomb into a 2/2.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't even kill everything though. Just creatures and artifacts. Like we were watching a
Yeah.
league match earlier, not in the feature matches, where somebody played Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and the person had Bovine Intervention, and it doesn't kill it until it became a creature. So he got to do the discard two, draw two mode. Like, oh my god, because you have to wait till a creature. Yeah, I've said it before. Like these cards are good in Commander, where a 2/2 or whatever body 1/1 or 3/3 that it leaves behind is just not a real game piece. But in limited, these are real things that attack and block. Like a 2/2 is a real, actual game piece that can be used against you.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm pretty sure if there was another piece of removal that he could have played instead of that, I would like to believe he would have like put in the deck.
Oh yeah,
Like
I'm
if
sure of it.
someone's bovine, it tells me that there's probably not a lot of interaction, so they're playing it just to make sure they're keeping up.
I mean, look, as soon as Morbid Opportunist draws one card, your removal for it, you're down a card. So might as well kill it before it draws a card. Instead of opponent drawing a card, gets the 2/2. So he says, well, it could draw multiple cards, or I could just bite the bullet now and swap it for a 2/2 with no text.
1,000%. I mean, also, what is it? Had York waited too much longer to try and kill the Morbid Opportunist, Jeremy still does have the Snakeskin Veil.
Yeah.
Granted, he has Badlands Revival, so we'll see Morbid Opportunist again,
So
regardless.
we might get. I mean, if York plays his Mayhem Devil here, it's a kind of an engine with the Treasure Dredger.
Is it? Oh.
Kind of, kind of.
Ooh.
It's kind of. And he has another Treasure Dredger in hand. So if Jeremy doesn't remove this, we may see kind of a really cool set of interactions here.
I don't know how cool this is gonna be, though.
I didn't say it's great. I said it's cool.
Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. Well, I guess the token won't go to the graveyard. But I guess Jeremy's best plan would try and be to get this Hollow Marauder on the field before using Badlands Revival.
Yeah, could be. So not too many great options here for York. Prairie Dog, Desperate Bloodseeker, Herald of the Dreadhorde, Treasure Dredger in hand, as well as the removal. Spark Harvest.
You gotta go double Treasure Dredger, right? You have to.
I
11
mean,
life, psh, live the dream, live the dream.
he'll just die doing it, but I mean, sure.
As they say in the hood, slay queen, slay.
Oh, I would just say you die doing what you love.
I mean, that works too.
So yeah, definitely some options here. They're all just kind of just medium. They're just like playing stuff. It's like playing
Does he have,
creatures and hoping to block. This bird is going to get a lot of chip damage though, potentially.
that was my question. What does he have for flyers? Because the bird's here
Oh,
now.
there's nothing.
Jeremy does. Yeah, I mean, Prairie Dog is, I mean, it's something.
Yeah. All right. So he says, I'm not going to go for the fancy plays here. I'm just going to play to the board.
Jeremy's thinking, mill me, daddy.
Nick says,
Please!
it's my strong belief that unless I have a crime payoff in play, or if I'm playing like the blue black crimes deck and I'm playing the deep muck desperados in my deck and archive trap and like mill is like a primary plan. Unless that's the case, or I have a crime payoff in play, I'm never milling opponent just out of the blue. I don't think.
I think that's probably a very safe option.
I mean, maybe if they like scryed or surveilled something on top, that would be like the time when I would do it. Like like the
Yeah,
turn before surveil, keep on top. Okay, mill it.
I think Scry, Surveil, or if they're in like blue red or a color that doesn't really utilize the graveyard that much, then I'm all for it.
All right, so just another random creature drawn here, Omenport Vigilante. So it's just like playing more bodies here, hoping to not take more damage than just what the Raven's doing. But the Blood Hustler can now complicate this plan and deal more damage.
I wouldn't be surprised to see like at least at the minimum a swing between the life linkers.
Because that's potentially three life points taken away by the combination of Raven attacking and Blood Hustler being activated. But now the lifelinks are coming, so
What? He doesn't give up the organ order?
I think he just wants
Okay.
to stop this life gain immediately.
Good, right? It's got to be the best play. Plus, you have Marauder and Badland Revival. So by trading off the Hoarder, he gets to hold up Snakeskin Veil.
So
It's just got to be the
seems
best
pretty
option.
tempting for York to try and kill this Blood Hustler now with a treasure because he does
Oof.
not have 4 mana to activate it, but we do know he does have that Snakeskin Veil, so it won't
Yes.
quite work out. Okay, I think he is gonna enact this plan. Now
I'm
that he's
curious
now
how
that he's
much
gained
Jeremy cares about it.
now that he's gained 4, he's kind of quite a bit safer here with his life total.
Yeah, I'm curious if Jeremy like really cares to like save with the snakeskin or save the snakeskin for the Hollow Marauder or Hollow Marauder when it comes back to the battlefield or something else.
So he's deciding if he wants to play 2 creatures or his Herald of the Dreadhorde. So you could play his other Treasure Dredger and an Omenport Vigilante, or just play out the Herald. Or
Harold
he's
sounds.
thinking about Spark Harvest here, which is, I mean, he's gonna have to sack a creature.
Yeah, I think Harold just sounds pretty safe. If you ask me.
Okay, so he's gonna sack he's gonna try and kill both here. Is what he's gonna do. Okay, interesting. This was not on my radar at all. The treasure treasure seemed like it was kind of going to be
Oh, no,
important to the plan here,
it's on your radar for a very good reason.
but he does have another one.
So he goes, "Hey, you know what? You can have my hauler, but you cannot have my bird."
I think that's right though.
I think I agree with this line also.
Well,
It'll get him for
also,
another 2 next
well, here's the
turn. He has
thing:
Marauder.
if he snakeskin veils the blood hustler, the treasure there just gets rid of it anyway.
Oh yeah, just right on top of the stack.
So yeah, this is actually the only viable move here. But this is a problem for York now being a 2-3.
I just love that pause, like York just going, was not expecting that.
How could you not be expecting snakeskin veil? Your opponent has green mana. This is like the ubiquitous card of the format. I just assume my opponent always has it when I see a green mana. I'm just playing as if they have it. I mean, you have to play into it a lot of the time, but I'm just always play as if they had it. Right, Hollow Marauder is gonna increase this clock here, and York's he's gonna be dead pretty fast here because the treasure treasure being gone, he can't kill the Hollow Marauder with two treasure sacks. He has the other treasure
Yeah,
dredger still in hand, but there's not going to be enough time to do that.
Jeremy's putting a stop on York's upkeep. He did draw Desert's due for the turn. I'm curious though why he would put a stop on the upkeep though.
Yeah, he's tapped out now, so
Yeah, I would think if you want to fire it off, like just fire it off now.
I think the idea is if my opponent can save it, I want their mana to be tapped on their turn. Like I want them to tap mana right now to use it.
It doesn't sound like he really wants it dead then, right?
Could be.
I'm saying like, if I want something dead.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that. Yeah, this traumatic revelation off the top is not going to be very helpful. I
It's
guess.
pretty helpful. It'll get rid of the Badlands.
Oh, okay, I mean, no,
Oh wait,
no. It only takes a creature or a
yep.
battle,
I stopped myself. I stopped myself.
so there'll be none of that. He just gets to look at it.
You can have a
And now
consolation
he gets to
prize
open
before
up
you.
opponent's graveyard and see what's in there, and then he gets to probably concede. We'll see. He's past the treasure dredger. He's not dead on board, but it's close.
Yeah, I mean, from here, Jeremy can grab what? Oregon Hoarder and I'm trying to think what else is good in there.
Blood
I assume it'd be
Hustler.
Oregon Hoarder and the Hollow Marauder. What was the other one?
There's Blood Hustler in there, right?
Yeah, I guess why not, right? Why not? It's a crime trigger that's an extra 2 damage a turn. Seems
Maybe he
good.
can dump something cool in there. No, just land.
How about a land? It could be more of an opportunist.
Yeah, I mean, just about anything here. I mean, like the Flyers are just gonna do the brunt work here.
It's 2 turn clock.
There's not really a wrong way to cast this Badlands Revival. Yeah, like this seems pretty darn good here.
Ooh. We got a plunder and a bandit and a land on top. It's gotta be plunder, right? Get that sneaky damage in.
Which plunderer would that be?
The boy, the 3/1.
Oh, my boy. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be lethal from so many directions.
Yeah.
So it
He's.
means that Jeremy's gods are indeed quite strong because York hasn't drawn his god.
We don't know if he prayed, but we'll assume he did in some fashion, and no gods to be seen here in this game. Just mere mortals, and the Flyers fly over the mere mortals.
So if we get another game like this, it does seem like Jeremy does have quite a bit power behind the overall deck. And York's power, I mean, from what we've seen, Kai is just pretty good removal, potentially on 2 creatures and Oketra. I don't know, like you can see a sideboard now. Is there really much else in the board to be worried about for Jeremy?
Oh, he's got a Rakdos. He's got an Outlaws Merriment. He's got some good stuff going on. Kervek as well. reanimate. Like he's got some powerful cards. To be certain, his deck has power in it.
I have faith. I've seen Outlaws Merriment do some work. Rakdos, of course, left unattended, can definitely do some
Oh
work.
yeah, Bolas the Citadel could be fun too.
Oh, I forgot he had this. He has a geese. Oh, let's go, Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy has the Gisa. Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah, I forgot. I think he played one of his games. I just almost forgot it was even there.
So what wins faster, Gisa or God Eternal Oketra? Still Oketra, I think. But
Uh, I mean, one comes down turn 4, and the other comes down what, turn 5?
no, they're both 5 drops. But yeah, that's all we need. We need Oketra to be costing 4 mana instead of 5.
The other thing though is how are you triggering, right? Like, is this just like they're versus each other, or like does a catcher only get certain creatures in the deck, and Geese only gets like lands, or a certain kind of removal, right? Because that would definitely change everything.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, I'm sure I remember, is Geese a legendary? I want to say yes, but I,
It's
I don't
literally
know.
called Gisa. Yes,
Listen, but that does that make her legendary though?
it certainly does. Yes. So
I feel like if the card's not ordered, I'm not 100% sure all the time.
again, no further sideboarding here on York's side.
We're just going down memory lane, Look at this photograph. Every time it looks, it makes me laugh.
Okay, not.
Jeremy's, Jeremy's hovering over the torpor orb. I guess he heard the stories of Spaghetti Mitch stopping a Bonnie Paul from making a token. He's thinking,
Yeah, don't. If
hmm.
anybody's wondering about Torpor Orb, don't ask.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst tech, right? Like if you're worried about Oketra, your opponent won't be
Oh
making
no,
tokens.
it's when you cast a creature spell.
Well, that's just even worse.
It's no good. Torpor Orb is bad, except when you have to play it because you self-impose the stipulation where you let other people pick your cards and then have to play them all. And then your opponent does randomly cast a Bonnie Paul and doesn't get an Ox. Does the one time.
Okay. Torpor orb stops ETBs, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm missing. That's what I'm missing. It's not that it stops tokens; it stops ETBs, and Oketra is not an ETB. Okay. Okay, I'm with it.
all right. Not a great,
This game's
not a
not
great
bad.
look here for York. Has the mulligan.
Yeah, I mean, for Jeremy, it's a hand. It's a conduit pylons, two swamps, mortar surprise, freak spawn, a voracious varmin, and a unlicensed hearse. So I mean, he does have the potential to curve out with
Yeah, that'll do.
hearse, varmin, and then if he can find a fourth land or a green land, he did get the patient naturalist, and sure enough, there's a fourth land on top of the deck. But I'm not sure if he wants it because it's another swamp. Really want to see some of these other colors.
Yeah. York over here has the plains, Arid Archway. He has my boy, the Vault Plunder, Desperate Bloodseeker, and the Treasure Dredger. And he actually did put very conservative play here. I think some people may have gone for the gusto. He did put his Rakdos on the bottom.
Oh, okay. That is quite disciplined.
Now, I think some people would say, hey, I got Treasure Dredger. I got 1 black mana. I'm surprised he didn't actually run out the Treasure Dredger on turn 2 to start possibly accelerating slightly. He's running
I mean,
Karavek
it is.
now. Karavek is going to get a bit neutered by the unlicensed Hearst if York ever triggers crimes. Those cards can get just
Yeah.
swept away.
All right, another incastable in the derailment. So we're gonna cast this 3 mana Varmin.
Yeah, Arid Archway does get a bit awkward in a deck where you're trying to cast like Oketra, Karavek, Rakdos. It's still a 2-for-1. It's still good, but it becomes a little too wonky. I think in decks like this. Like right now, he has Vault Plunderer, Karavek, and Frontier Seeker in his hand. It's like no matter what he does, he can only play one of them this turn, pretty much.
I think I'm cool with that. Like Vault Plunder, like just like a slow little mid rangey game, right? Swing the 2/2 lifelinker.
Yeah, I know. It's just like if that was just a colored source, there's just more options going forward.
Yeah.
I like the
I
card.
don't
It's
think you're.
just I think some people say there's like people that say Art Archway like I don't want to play it at all. There's other people that say put it in every deck. And then there's me that's like I'll play it in my two color decks. The more splashes I'm having, I basically end up taking it. I take it out of some two color decks actually, just if I feel like I need more colored sources.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't like playing the archway. That's just me, though. I don't like going backwards. I'm a forwards progressive thinker. I don't like bouncing.
Yeah, but it is card advantage. Like if the if the fact that it makes colorless is not like a big cost to your deck, it's just card advantage. Like you keep a hand with one land and an archway, you've kept a three lander.
Yes.
So it is just strict card advantage in that sense. But the fact that it taps for only colors is a very big drawback. I think it's a tricky card in that way. It's not always the card you want. So Jeremy's
Oh,
sort of
dude.
just not doing too much here. I'm not sure this is what he
Jeremy is a limited player that is true to the limited philosophy of playing something,
use your
using your
mana.
mana as efficiently as possible, right? He said, hey,
Yeah,
you know what? I have a tap land. I can't play anything. Let me at least, cast what I can while I can. So we're just
and
going to grab this 2 2.
off the top comes the card that Jeremy maybe prayed to not see for the rest of this match. The,
I'm curious what this card might be.
it looks like a cat of some kind,
Oh, gross.
perhaps wearing a dress. There you
Absolutely gross. Anyone betting for York right now is probably cheering, while anyone who bet on Jeremy is really
go. And it was
rolling.
actually split.
They're
It was
rolling in
actually split
agony.
down the middle, right?
Yes,
It was equal parts,
200,
equal
200.
votes. Yeah, so it's the same payout. So there's no favorite as far as betting.
Listen, I'm mad for Jeremy right now because Jeremy drew Jeremy Noah, and this card should answer bombs. It should do what it's supposed to do.
Yep. There's a reason why they have not revisited this design space of if this creature would die or be put into exile from the battlefield, get it back. Like this is just
Oh, it'll come back. I don't believe it. Wizards said they wouldn't do hexproof anymore. Don't we have a hexproof creature?
oh, yeah. We got a hexproof creature in this set with flying, flash, and higher power than mana cost.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't believe it. We'll see this ability at some point in the future. I'm sure of it.
The whole thing about hexproof is supposed to be the creatures are undersized and overcosted, right? We get like we got in
Yeah.
Dominaria, like a 6 mana 4/5 hexproof, just a clunker. Like once it's in play, you can't deal with it, but it's a clunker. It's slow. It's not a great body for what you paid. But when they put it on these rares, like 4 mana 5/3 flash flying, like come on, what are we
Too
doing?
efficient.
What are we
Too
doing?
efficient. It's like what was it, a 2/5 in AFR or something that had hexproof, but it's a 2/5. I don't mind
Two
that.
five hexproof AFR.
It's like the horse, the guy riding the horse, the rhinestone something.
Oh, that was Ward, no?
There, was it Ward? I thought it was hexproof.
It was like a 5 mana 4/5 with Ward. That was. But in Ravnica Allegiance there was a homunculus. It was a 5 mana 2/5 hexproof, and that was like harmless. Like nobody ever played that really. Like nobody cared.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm good seeing it. I don't see it anymore. And Jeremy's hand needs a bit of work.
Yeah,
So like this freaking spawn. Ah man, like normally it's pretty good against most things. It'll wall off, York's board for a bit, but there's really nothing else really. Not a lot going on. I think Jeremy's gonna need. I don't know if he has a creature in here that's gonna be able to wall off the Oketra.
I mean it's a 3/6
I don't.
double strike. What actually blocks that? Like a 0/10? Yeah.
I don't know. A 7/7 in green.
Okay, yeah, okay. I mean, this unlicensed search is effectively shutting off any graveyard shenanigans that York may be up to. But the fact that he actually has a follow up to the Aketra here to make a token right away is kind of backbreaking here.
So that's
He
disgusting.
does have a Frontier Seeker, which may find him probably a land. I didn't see too many mounts.
Yeah, what? Man, Jeremy's options are all awkward right here. So he has derailment in hand, and derailment could potentially kill the Oketra. Ugh. See, the worst part of this Oketra, though, is that ability. It doesn't go to the graveyard, then goes to the deck. It's just instead of going to the graveyard, it goes to the deck, right?
I no, if it dies, you could nab it at instant speed out of the graveyard. But the problem is the
So
journey,
he's going to
the
hurt.
journey to nowhere, the journey to nowhere exiled it.
Well, what I mean though, is if Jeremy is able to somehow, like if Chris swings with a 360 blocks with the Freaka Spawn, right? Let the first strike happen, let the second strike happen, derailment it, and then hurts it.
You can, yes, you can do that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you could do it because Oketra says if it would die or be put into exile from the battlefield.
Okay.
So if you exile it while it's in the graveyard with the trigger on the stack, it'll work. I'm
No, I'm
pretty
not
sure.
saying I think this is a great idea
But
because
also,
Jeremy's currently.
also he's at 8, and York has 6 creatures. So
Yes.
this is like if he survives combat, this is maybe an option, but it's not.
What are the options here? So he has a Varmint and a land in hand, so he can play land, play Varmint. If it goes to Chris's turn, Chris swings, block 4, chump block 3, take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially live by 1 to fight another day.
I think his best option is to ask York to restart the game, probably. Like, excuse me, the game glitched. This Oketra showed up and I can't answer it cleanly. Could we just play a normal game where I don't have to deal with this, please? Thank you in advance.
Let's see. He could also play. Well, I don't know. Oh, that is so awkward. No, no, Jeremy, don't do it. Don't do it. So tapping the red to play Naturalist is going to turn off the derailment option.
But what even realistically can be done here?
I think that was the best option with the cards that
Okay,
he had available.
yeah, because that was just a bunch of sad blocking here.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, aside from the Oketra and the 4/4, the attacks are not amazing, but we'll see what York decides to do. He's drawn just another land here, but he does have this hidden courtyard, so I assume that we're going to see an activation here, since he
Oh,
literally has
okay.
nothing
I'm
else going on.
surprised. That's LCI, right?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
cave. You discover 4. Yeah.
Yes. And those are definitely great to have in the league, right? Especially like in the mid late game when you're looking for
Well,
options.
okay. That's an extra damage here with the treasure dredger if he wants
It is.
a surprise damage here. Yeah, like when those hidden lands were spoiled, I was like, oh, these are going to be like so strong. They're going to be like a foundational part of the format, and it just turned out LCI was very fast. So I mean, the hidden lands were okay, but they weren't as high picks as I think they might have been in some other formats.
No, I think the format was also like what in the Jeskai colors you were typically playing on curve, where you didn't really have like a game plan to actually use it. You're trying to play a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then kill them on 5 or play a 5, and hopefully they're dead on 6.
Yeah, like the cards are good. It's just they weren't that well suited to the format, but that's not an indictment on the card itself. The design is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Right? It's a land that casts you a spell for free later. Like that just can't be bad. So he says, I'm going to use this right away. Knock off a blocker here. Nothing to cast from the graveyard with Kiervek. So York may not have known, but he was playing a match the other day, and his opponent informed him that you can actually cast creatures and sorceries at instant speed with Kiervek, based on the way it's worded. His,
Today I learned.
his opponent was chatting with him, and he's like, "Why didn't you cast the creature?" And he was like, "Well, you can't do that." And yeah, with well, yeah, it's not how Kiervek is worded, what it says, it's what it's missing. It doesn't say you can cast it till end of turn. It just says you can cast it immediately, which means you can ignore timing restrictions.
Fair, but you have to obey casting restrictions.
Well, you have to have the mana for it. Yeah.
But I mean, you can't just cast a creature in your opponent's turn.
With Karavek, you can. Yes.
So you can cast a creature.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It sounded like you said you can't cast a
No,
creature.
it's any black spell. It just says, would you like to cast the copy immediately? As soon as
Okay.
Karavek's trigger goes on the stack, you just get to cast stuff. So good to know.
There's some complaining about it earlier in the format, and I think Adam and Jack and a few others were telling me about that. I mean, it seems pretty good to me, right? If you can cast a removal spell on your opponent's turn
I mean,
and ambush them with the creature.
he thanked his opponent for informing him during the match.
Yeah, I mean, that's a level up if you didn't know.
I was probably going to tell him. I was going to tell him after, but his opponent was like,
So
"Hey, why didn't you play the creature?" He's like, "That's not a thing, right?"
how does Jeremy get out of this?
Well, ask opponent to restart, but otherwise, I don't know if he has a board wipe in his deck. That
I
could
did not see
that
one.
could
All
slow
I see
down
in hand
matters
is
here.
yeah, I just see Badlands Revival, Derailment, and
Okay, so
Plains.
he says, "I'm just going to attack with this. I don't like my other attacks too much." So if he
Wait,
blocks all, that is
it's
not enough to kill it.
yeah, you just lose two
Because he
creatures.
could kill Patient Naturalist during first strike, and then
Yep.
the five remaining damage is not enough. So he can't even kill it here, which is yeah, what a silly card. It's like you put up a good fight, you cast your spells, you do what you're doing, and then this just invalidates everything.
Yeah, this game's feeling a lot familiar. Like that last guy that played that Salvalo on four.
Yeah, I mean it's they're similar but still different because the Oketra actually like attacks your opponent to death. The Selvala usually doesn't end up attacking, but I mean, not too many options here. So it looks as if York is gonna escape with a win here and keep himself alive for
Yeah,
one more match. So he'll
I
still
want
he'll,
to
he'll
bet on
still have
him.
one
I'm
more
still
match
scorned.
this week. He'll still
I'm
have
still scorned after York's week two switching of the decks. He brought it back week three, and he brought it back week four,
look.
fighting the good fight.
The man is he's not predictable. We could say that much. He brought a different deck every single week here. We had him 4 weeks in a row. He said, "I'm not going to rest on my laurels. I'm going to switch it up. I'm opening like his pool has insane cards in all the colors. Like he's just got all sorts of options, which actually, you'd think like, oh, that's great. It makes it harder actually. Like the less options you have, the easier it is to build your deck because you're drawn towards the colors that have strong cards. And here, like all of his colors have strong cards.
I mean, this Oketra seems like a very, very, very good card to be playing.
Yeah, it's like the rest of his white. Like honestly, white is probably was I think his weakest color overall, but the Oketra just made it so good that it was worth running here.
The two games, Oketra's just completely warped the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the rest of his white cards are, they're fine, but crazy card. I think he says, "I'm satisfied with the current state of affairs. Let me attack all of my creatures in." And Jeremy says, "I refuse to block. I'm going to take 15 damage or some such." Yeah, 20. All right. So York stays alive. He remains to fight another day. Whether he'll get enough wins to join us back for another feature match next week, that remains to be seen. But we'll see everybody back next week for the next set of feature matches.